Peace and power back live with Readyo Radio. This is the last segment. I know the last segment. I know y'all see us again next Tuesday. The last segment is solutions, and we actually have opened the lineup for callers. So Coach is going to give the number.
Again, the reach us is 586-839-7448. You can call or text. We had a caller ask about immunization during the commercial break. Again, the number 586-839-7448. And so we'll look for a post on our Facebook page between now and tomorrow for some more information about immunizations, state by state laws and different things like that. So
exactly. And so with that being said, I guess I'll start with solutions I'll tie in what is revolution to that. Revolution, like I'm just building on what everybody said already. Revolution is change, complete change, and we also said it's an evolutionary process. And so, for me, revolution is self-sufficiency, self-determination. It's the principles of Kwanzaa, and that's what revolution is. In this context, where we are dominated, born in a dominant society that is not designed for us to succeed. And that's not debatable. It just is what it is at this point. And so self-sufficiency is, in that context, self-sufficiency is revolution. The revolution that we need in order to survive and thrive anyway. There's other revolutions, but they're not well-rounded. This panel is well-rounded. The network of people that's part of the revolution. The network of people around you, information security, media, administrative, spiritual, economic, defense. Mm-hmm. So that's a revolution to me. Reclaiming, in this context of domination, reclaiming self-determination. Look up Kwanzaa. In this context of what's going on in America and in the world, if we actually practice Kwanzaa principles, and they're not the rich, they had a beginning and ending, but they're part of universal law. So I'll just give a reference. We practice the laws of Kwanzaa. We would in my context, that's what the revolution is about. Mm-hmm. Getting back to that. So that's to give you some example. That's knowing where to get your water, working with your team, knowing routes, knowing how to get food that's prepared, knowing where the community gardens are, creating those relationships. We got so much that goes into self-sufficiency. The general said, protecting yourself. If you can't defend it, you don't own it.
That's right.
So do you really own your life? Anyway, survival with YouTube. So we're going to have a lot of shows coming up, and this is a part of the revolution. This is what the solutions are. We're providing a solution in our way. You provide the solution in your way. We are providing a whole syllabus, if you will, a curricula for self-sufficiency and as it relates to emergency preparedness, and all of these different topics are going to go more in depth. Self-governance, technology, defense, preparation, holistic health, off-the-grid families, law and sovereignty, media. So that's what revolution looks like to me. We are. You have to be the change you want to see. And that's why, we got Mindful, B, Coach O'Lee, Info Keith on the radio. So that's revolution for me. And there's some next steps in there. Get with the people, build your network, get with the people that's doing it. With that, I'm gonna pass it on to somebody else.
Okay. So, as we mentioned earlier, some of my solutions would be obtaining skills that will help increase your chances of survival in a situation. And here I have the 6 most valuable survival skills in a SHTF situation. So the first one is bartering, which is what we talked about earlier. So you may need anything in a survival situation, and you won't be able to go to the store to get it. So you have to know how to barter and know what to barter. So that's the first one. The second one is woodworking and carpentry, which is you can build a multitude of things, including a cabin or whatever utility or whatever things that you need. You can build it. Most of us are just used to going to the store and buying tables and chairs, but in a survival situation, you won't be able to. Next is hunting, fishing, and trapping. That's another skill that most of us don't have.
Foresting.
Right, and especially if you are a so-called meat eater, it'll be hard to have to become a vegetarian in a survival situation because there is no meat for you. So vegetarians that started before the survival situation will have a better time than meat eaters. And a lot of people are only meat eaters because they don't have to worry about, going out and killing or
That's true though.
Keith, man, you prejudiced, man.
That's true though.
Just get meat eaters, man.
Next is
Just keeping it real, bro. We just keeping it real.
That's right. That's right. Be real.
next is agriculture, and I have to tip my hat to Sara Suten Seti. He showed me his garden. Because I was very proud of that. Next is marksmanship. A lot of us don't go to the range or, the gun range. And that's definitely by design. If you look at where the gun ranges are, most are not within the inner cities, but on the outskirts, in the white neighborhoods. And then, a lot of, of them, they have land where they can just go in the backyard and shoot or, practice marksmanship. So that's one thing we have to do is get back to going to the gun range. Even if you don't have a gun, it's better to go to the range and shoot as opposed to being out in the street and that's your first time having to shoot, because the noise alone is like ridiculous. Even with the ears, the ear protection is like it's loud. So a gun going off outside in the world with no ear protection near you would scare a lot of people. So it's good to go to the range.
And it's common sense. If you wanna actually shoot, you wanna actually hit what you shooting at. If you shooting to defend your life, you don't want to be, it's not a movie.
That's
at
right.
that point, you know what I mean?
That's right.
Yeah.
For real, it's not a. So that marksmanship is a skill, like you said.
And the last one is medical and first aid, and that's definitely self-explanatory. Most of us are used to just going to the hospital or going to grab a Band-Aid. What happens when that stuff isn't around? Without the proper medical care, you could die from a paper cut because it gets infected and you have no way to treat it. So just medical and first aid is one of the most important things on this list. Those are my solutions. We'll post them in the comments too if you missed any of them.
The solutions for me, I reiterate something I said earlier. It's important to know who's in your environment. Talk to your neighbor. Even if your neighbor isn't helpful, at least you know that your neighbor isn't helpful, so that when it's an emergency, you ain't going knocking at their door. But it's very vital to know who is around you, and also it's very important to be prepared. We have hydroponic systems. Someone just texted me on here saying that they make their own organic compost for their own hydroponic system. So they can grow basically anything they want in their house. And you couple that with growing tilapia or some other fish, now you got your own ecosystem going on. So it's important again to be prepared. One of my big solutions always is being the master of yourself. Like understand what makes you tick and why, so that you're not a victim. Your behavior and your emotions aren't just you're not like feeling like you're blown in the wind. You know why. If the wind comes from the east, or your neighbor or your coworker cusses you out or whatever, you already know how you're gonna respond before it happens. Because if you can't control yourself when shit hits the fan, you're not gonna be prepared, because then your chemical hormones are just gonna take over your body and your actions. So for me, it's very important that we build teams again. If you're the only person, if you had a conversation with somebody all day and nobody talked about stuff you you enjoy talking about this stuff as far as sustaining yourself and growing yourself, you need to talk to different people, or you need to just quit talking to the people you're talking to and start planning by yourself until you find people you can build with, because they're out there. Social media, like we got together through really watching the Hidden Colors documentary through Facebook at Keith's basement, and then ultimately we went on a camping trip, and boom, now we got a radio show. So of course that's our story, but the point is, if you decide that I'm about to go find this and I'm about to go do it, it'll get done, because that's how powerful we are. We got to really understand how powerful we are. And my last solution is something that all of our great Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark talked about, is getting our African minds back.
That's right.
Because we're operating, thinking of success from a European standpoint, looking for shiny things and materialism and climbing the corporate ladder and all this crap that don't get you nowhere. You got to get back to understanding what is really valuable and how did we do things for hundreds, if not millions of years of our history, and why did it work, and why did we choose to do things that way? Because that stuff, the things we've done in the past is so advanced that we still can't do it today. So obviously those people had a different state of mind than we have today. And so we keep trying to do what we're doing today with the mindset that was given to us and beaten into us, then we're never going to be successful. So again, talking about self-sufficiency, if you don't know who yourself is, you're not going to be sufficient.
No shade.
I want to end with I want to commend all the brothers for some very informative perspectives. It just blended right together. Everything was needed. What it's going to boil down is the fight of a man, which is in his heart. You can have it all right there in front of you. But if you ain't got no heart, it's not going to mean shit. So we have to see this war as a righteous war. We standing on right. We deserve to be free. We deserve to be free. That's just it. And we got to know that what we're doing, whether all the blood and all the lives that's going to be lost, the smoke, the fire, it was because we got to be free. It's not because we want to bring harm to anyone, but freedom can't wait no more. It can't. So it's going to boil down, do we really want to be free? And if it's in our heart, we're going to be free. And so I want people to understand this is a righteous. We standing on right. What we speaking about tonight is because it's right. And so just step up and do the study. And as you study, your spirit will grow. You will understand what must be done, and you will do it. Come together like the brothers are saying. We can't do this shit by ourselves. And I understand we could do it in small groups, but it's going to have to be a number of us. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a nice number. Ain't like no goddamn 10 niggas going to do it. So we want to quit that. It must be a nice majority of us that must unify. And I believe we will do it. I believe it in my heart. I done seen it. I believe that the Spirit will take over in that time, and it will calm the storm and bring us to victory. So I want to thank y'all for having me out. It was a pleasure to know that we got brothers and sisters in Detroit making moves, man. I'm proud of y'all, and keep this up, because the people do need you. That's Black Power.
Peace, brothers.
And we appreciate that. Anybody have anything else to say before we make some announcements?
Yeah, my last statement is that 100% dissatisfaction equals change. So we are still within the system. We are still operating within the system because we aren't 100% dissatisfied. So when we become 100% dissatisfied, that's when we'll see change.
Shade. I wanted to talk about some of the exciting things that we have lined up. Like we intentionally took a month of June off so that we could propose some new developments for the show. And of course, we had to start it off with the great General Sara Suten Seti kick us off and talk about a really important topic of revolution. We, like I said before, we have a large list of topics that we're going to be getting into around self-sufficiency. So you can look forward to that. We can also look forward to the what am I forgetting, people? The different ways we're going to do the segments, like the word of the week. Look forward to different types of customer and viewer participation.
Like that. We're getting technical right now.
Exactly. And so, speaking of customers, we all have things that we do, and so this one we wanted to definitely let you know that us doing what we do well allows us to do this to you all, for you all. And so for me, it's bringing projects together. So we have the copper jewelry line that supports the show. Keith, provides other services to the community. You want to tell them about them?
Yeah, so one of the things that I do, I have a boot camp workout that I teach on Saturdays at 10 o'clock in Greenfield Plaza. Another thing that I do is teach martial arts. So if you want to learn martial arts, just inbox me or whatever. Just get to me anyway, or email us at readyoradio@gmail.com. Yeah, I was doing shirts. It got kind of hectic, but I do t-shirts too.
I feel you. Coach O?
We got the meditation circle. You can send an email also, radioradio.gmail.com, or you can send on to my personal email, which is kojo.lee@gmail.com. We basically, every week we meet and do something different. I also do personal consultations, so it can be a one-on-one thing if you're new to meditation. I'm also rolling out a youth education program very soon, working on some presentations now to educate basically teenagers more about what money's about. They're getting to the age of understanding money. It's a company I own called Pieces of Peace. We're going to be doing other things, some international stuff coming up in the near future as well. So making moves. And we also, what else was there? Of course, the Readyo Radio venue that we have here. And I also work with our brother Taji Ali. Shout out to Writers Cooperative Industries, which he does a lot of energy projects. We just worked on a solar panel project for D-Town Farms, still ongoing actually. So, a lot of us are engineers and business principled individuals. So, again, I do design work too. So if you got some crazy invention in your mind, hit me up and I can get you at least a prototype with drawings and everything. So let me know.
Power. We're showing you that this is what a team looks like.
Let me give a couple shout out.
Go ahead.
Put him off the meter, Black Power Lectures. General Sara Suten Seti. You can hit me up at generalseti@yahoo.com. Leave me an inquiry, and I'll get back with you. And for all that fresh gear I'll be rocking, y'all check me out. KMTapparel.com. That's KMTapparel.com. Peace.
There you have it. It's Readyo Radio Reloaded, episode 40. Stay tuned to more episodes. We're gonna have a health testimony from one of our great sisters coming up. We have definitely more to discuss. We're gonna talk about
Presidential election coming up.
We're gonna talk about fiat currency, and my thing is ancient economics. Bringing it all back together.
Hey,
Website and old episodes coming very soon as well.
And we're looking to be on Sinetta TV coming soon, claiming that.
That's right.
We making it happen. This is what it looks like. The revolution's here. And so stay tuned. Post, comment, tell us how you like the show. And we out of here. Readyo Radio.
Before we go, shout out Sisters in the City.
Nice.
Shout
out the technician. Shout out Tasha in the back. Shout out
Special guest Brick.
Brick
the foundation.
That's right.
Oh, and this y'all most
And friends.
listeners ever. So congrats to y'all.
Our personal
yeah.
best.
Y'all like double y'all listeners.
Most listeners, even though all of them aren't really listed on there because people tune in through the app as well. We appreciate everybody, and we're gonna see y'all next Tuesday, same place, same time. Readyo Radio. Tell a friend.
Black Power.
Get ready.